Namaskar, Mitro. Good afternoon, friends. Good evening, friends. Once again, I'm here with my friend Dr. Chaitanya Shah on our SME series in our episode number 27. And this episode is going to be an interesting episode because we are going to talk about the mindset that a business owner has, especially an SME owner has, and what sort of mindset he should have so that he gets the result that he aspires to have for his business. So the mindset, the key thing in business, Chaitanya.
Yes, it's the most important thing which will drive not only setting up of the business, its success, but most important, the future course which the business will take. Because the fundamental principle, in the entire mindset, this video which we are going to take up is, it is to establish a business which will survive for long term on its own. It has its own sustainability over a long term period, and that's the thing which will be set rolling by the mindset of the owner who is going to establish the business as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, so here we go. So we are going to talk about critical mindset for outperforming SMEs. This is our episode number 27, and we are happy to share this experience-based critical mindset issues. So, Chaitanya, what do
Yeah,
you mean by business objectives beyond profits? Every business has to be make for profit, but you're saying that you should have a mindset which goes beyond profit.
yes. Karthik, as you see, even if you see in the title, we have put even SMEs. The number of entrepreneurs and the number of business ideas which come up almost every day, there are hundreds and thousands of, and I would say lakhs of people who are getting into the business. And with a very big ambition, they want their businesses to grow and flourish and make a lot of money and all out of it. But if you see in the long term, very minuscule percentage survive over decades and financially healthy business. Now, why is it so? The main thing is that the business owner, for our purpose, we can also call them as an entrepreneur, because the one who is coming out with a new business idea, when he comes out with a business idea, he has a very noble motive of helping the society, helping the people at large to resolve some problem, whether it is related to health, whether it is related to some business function, whether it is related to any other part of our day-to-day activity. Now, when he's coming out with this kind of idea, his basic objective should not be just making money, profit. His mindset should be to help the society. And the classic example, if you see in this, is the Tatas. How Tatas have survived for more than a century and still going strong. One of the best brands world over. It is not because of the profits, but it is because of the values which they stand for. The kind of resilience, the kind of commitment they showed during the Bombay blast in Taj episode, the way they react to every situation, including the situation like COVID, when they come out with all sorts of social welfare measures and all. This is what I mean when your objective should be beyond profit. If you really want to build a business, because up to SME level, 5, 10, 15 crore, 20 crore, 25 crore, 50 crore, 100 crore, any company can do it. But if you want to survive for a long term, these are the most important thing, and which is hovering around the values which the entrepreneur stands for.
Yeah. Making business is not a crime, but making profit is not a crime, but it has to go beyond. And that beyond
Yes,
is the lasting impression that will create. The another
exactly.
thing that you're saying, Chaitanya, is how does a mindset of an owner is linked with long-term perspective of business. Here we are going to talk about, I want to ask you about how does a mindset of an owner is linked with long-term perspective.
Exactly. Now, this is another aspect. See, this is where the vision, technically, all the management books, they call it as a vision. The vision of an entrepreneur is most important because it will set the ball rolling on how the company or the business will move forward. And the classic example, as we all know, is of Reliance. Initially, Dhirubhai Ambani was working in some petrol related, I think, petrol pump or somewhere in a Middle East country.
Yeah.
And from
Dispensing
there,
petrol.
he developed, and from there, he developed a vision that he would like to create a conglomerate of businesses which would be number one in the world. So he would basically look at the petroleum products in its entirety. Although he started with yarn business in late 60s, but because of his long-term perspective of going to the petroleum industry in the long term, he moved step by step in last 5 to 6 decades, and today we know where Reliance stands as a giant among the entire oil industry and the petroleum industry. So this is what is long-term perspective.
Yeah.
Which has to be there.
Absolutely, absolutely. Financial controls and financial strategies are very important. So let me ask you, how business owners should formulate the financial strategy with what kind of mindset again he should have. So financial strategy, Chaitanya, is a necessity, but it is about what kind of mindset. Again, mindset and financial strategy.
See, the owner, the business owner, he must be very, very conservative to start with. Conservative doesn't mean that he should not take risk. Risk and conservatism both have to be properly balanced, because business prima facie and as a basic definition is risk taking. You have to take risk. That's why you are in the business. But when you are taking the risk, you must be very conservative, calculated, that to what extent the risks need to be taken. And that is why one has to be very cautious in financial strategy. Nowadays, if you notice, Karthik, you see so many startups, so many companies, and Byju's is a classic example today. Today also something has come, where the valuation has brought down to only 1%. If I'm correct, it's only 1% of what it was originally. Now, what has happened? You have overestimated. As a businessman, yes, you have to be optimistic, but you can't be so over optimistic that all your business fundamental calculations, financials go haywire. And this is what exactly is meant by cautious financial strategy. You have to have a very balanced approach. And that is where you will be successful as a businessman. Your business will strive on a long-term basis.
Yeah. So again and again we are saying that the mindset plays, or the mind plays, an important role. And a businessman is not only about executing his business plans, but also having his mindset to execute them as required to grow his business, to make it a success. And not only a success, to have a legacy where he can leave behind for his people who want to succeed his business. Yeah. Another question: effective decision making. What kind of approach a business owner should take for effective decision making? Now, decisions have to be made every day. And here you are, Chaitanya, you are saying effective decision making. So let's hear from you. How do you distinguish between making a decision where you're forced to make a decision and you make an effective decision, which is, of course, in the interest of the business?
Oh, it's a $1 million question. And all the three prior points which we discussed ultimately comes from effective decision making. Decision making is something where you are taking a firm resolve that I am going to take a particular path. Now, when you are taking these decisions, you have to be very effective. Effective means those decisions should prove correct in the long term. That is where effective decision making becomes very, very important. And this is where the businessman's mindset is something which is very important. I'll give you a classic example. which few days back Narayan Murthy had mentioned. If you remember, he's a very, very highly principled entrepreneur and a businessman. Years back, he took a decision when the Infosys was flourishing that none of the family members will have a say in the business. They will not be given any position directly in the business. That was his firm decision, which he stuck by. And recently, with hindsight, he had the moral courage to accept that possibly it was a wrong decision. And now he feels, with hindsight, that there is nothing wrong if very capable and competent family members are also there in the business and they are available, they should be given the position in the company. Now, this is where, effective decision making, whether it is related to finance, whether it is the business line, whatever business line you are going to pursue, if you are going, now again, coming back to Reliance, now see how Reliance has kept on changing the business line, business forays, and getting into the mobile business. Now they are going into geo finance, into the financing business, different lines of petroleum products. Now they are all related and has been moving in a very successful manner from time to time. So this effective decision making by the owner will decide the first criteria that you are establishing a business for a long-term survival, self-sustained survival. And where all the three things become very important, they are all dependent on the fourth one.
Absolutely. So, friends, here we have tried to briefly talk, or rather ask Chaitanya about the mindset, and the mindset always plays an important role. I hope this is of help to you. Should you have any queries, do write to us. Do subscribe our channel. Keep on supporting us. See you in the next episode. Bye for now.